Kia ora tātou. Hello everyone. We live in an age where many people live out their lives in public through social media, talking about anything and everything, from what they've had for dinner to who they vote for, and so much more, everything in between. The personal lives of celebrities are constantly being paraded before us, and reality TV has become the norm, where we tune in to see the day-to-day dramas of other people's lives unfold right before our eyes. But there's a part of prayer that is so countercultural to all of this, and it's secrecy, which is why this week in the prayer practice series, I'm talking about secrecy and sacrifice. In Matthew chapter 6, secrecy and sacrifice come together. Jesus encouraged his friends to do some things in secret, not bad things, but good things. Things like giving and praying and fasting. Jesus taught that if we do those things to get the praise and accolade of others, we're doing them for the wrong reason. At the beginning of Matthew chapter 6, he tells his disciples to give, pray and fast in secret, and reminding them that your Father who sees in secret will reward you. We're not meant to parade our sacrifices around in front of others to impress them or get their approval, or so they can praise us so that we feel important. Like posting on social media how long we've spent in prayer today, or that we're now in day 6 of a 10-day fast. No doubt we'd get lots of likes from the people who may be very impressed. We might say, I'd never do that. I'd never parade my life out there on social media for people to see like that and tell people what I'm doing. But maybe we'd find a more subtle way of letting people know about our sacrifices. Like maybe dropping into a conversation how much money we gave to a charity or helped a person in need, or that we're fasting and praying this week. A word about fasting, it's not necessarily just talking about fasting from food. You know, we can fast from many things, and it's really what God is speaking to us about to do. It could be from watching TV or reading certain things or all kinds of things. Maybe not being on social media for a week, who knows? But it's quite broad, so I just want to say that. But you know, when we're dropping these things into conversation about what we're doing, these sacrifices, it can still be a way of seeking approval or a way of feeling worthy. But Jesus said not to do that. If we do, that is our reward, receiving the accolade from others. That's it. So here's a question to ask ourselves. Am I sometimes tempted to let people know when I've given money to someone or given something to help someone in need, or when I've been praying or fasting, or some other kind of sacrifice for God? Am I tempted to let them know? And if so, why do I feel that I need to do that? When Jesus said to do these things in secret, he also said, your Father who sees in secret will reward you. He emphasizes our relationship with God, that our relationship with God is to him as Father. What a wonderful thing. If we keep on reading in Matthew chapter 6, we'll come to the Lord's Prayer, which is probably the most well-known prayer in the world. But it's not just for reciting. It's important that we understand why Jesus taught it and what he is wanting to say to us through it. And how does it begin? It begins with our Father, emphasizing our identity as God's children, that relationship of father-child. That's profound and beautiful. But the words, our Father, they're also a great leveler, reminding each of us that we're not the only one who calls God Father. God's my Father, but he's your Father. He's our Father. It's also a great leveler in reminding us that our identity is with the whole of humanity. We acknowledge our humanness. And also in the Lord's Prayer, We acknowledge our need for God's provision, for our daily bread, that He is our source, He's our provider as we trust in Him. We acknowledge our need to forgive and to be forgiven, both of which bring great release to us. And we acknowledge our need for the Father's help to overcome temptation, because that's part of our humanness. So back to secrecy and sacrifice. When we do things just for the Father, and we're not doing them to receive recognition from people, we're doing them in response to what He's doing in our lives. We're doing them in response to what He is saying to us. And I talked about response last week in the prayer practice series, if you want to have a look at that. And we're doing them because God is our reward. He Himself is our reward. And He reveals Himself to us as we do those things for His eyes only. In the secret place, God shares His secrets with us. I love how the Message version translates Psalm 25, verse 14. It says, God friendship is for God worshippers. They are the ones He confides in. Well, I want to be somebody that God confides in, that He shares His secrets with. Thanks for joining me again today. I hope this has encouraged you to keep living your life for an audience of one, for your Heavenly Father, who is your reward, and He'll share His secrets with you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.